and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man, Leader Judge Judges, right? We are in a good mood today because Arsenal, top of the league by 5 points, right? And I'm going to be asking a question today. Is it happening? Is it happening? On the Invincible podcast, brought to you today by AFTV PICK10. Get involved with the game and play. We'll be going through our predictions later on as well. But I'm still buzzing from last night. It was like a doubly nice game. Number one, we did our business, right? You know, to make us go 5 points top of the league, using our game in hand to great effect. But also coming out of the ground and hearing that Tottenham, right, had lost in the FA Cup to Sheffield United, a championship team, that made me chuckle as well. Especially when you consider, as Lee was telling me, that in the next round they would have got Blackburn, another championship team, and they would have had them at home, which if they won that, they'd be into the semi-finals. I mean, Tottenham, the gift that keeps giving. But so are Arsenal keep giving.
Oh yeah, what a great day. What a great evening that was, like, you know. I come out of the ground, I was just about coming out of the ground, and I see everybody around the TVs and there was like excitement going on, so I looked at the screen, I said, is that 1-0? I didn't have my glasses. So that 1-0, I said, yeah, it's only a minute to go. I said, oh, I've got to watch that. And the place went like, you know, mad. You know? It's great. You know, because I don't think anybody expected Tottenham to lose that game. But that's just, you know, if you got a cake, you just put the old cherry right on the top, didn't they? Like, do you know what I mean? It was absolutely wonderful, like, you know what I mean? But
it was, man. It was. You know, I was gonna ring expressions and banter him, and I was like, you know, I've done it so many times.
No, it's just getting boring, isn't it?
Yeah, I know it's his birthday. I think it's his birthday tomorrow. I thought I'd leave him alone, man. Let him enjoy his birthday, bro. Yeah, it ain't my fault he supports Tottenham. That's his fault. That's his problem. But yeah, listen, Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. We know that, but there was bigger issues as far as we're concerned and looking on small teams, right? By the way, how many goals has Richarlison scored? He still ain't scored a goal. Apart from the 2 goals he scored in the Champions League, he didn't score a goal in the FA Cup. He hasn't scored a goal in the Premier League.
Did you see that one? He had a shot yesterday nearly at the corner.
I mean, you could have.
Martinez has got more Premier League goals than him. You know what I mean? It's unreal, wasn't it? Like, get in there, Emil. Push in there. Yeah.
But as I said, bigger fish to fry. And of course, you know, Wednesday night, our game in hand, you know, the game that, you know, all season, literally every game, we're like, don't forget we've got a game in hand.
Yeah.
We've got a game in hand. Yeah, we may have lost that, but we've got a game in hand. Hey, we're 6 points clear with a game in hand. Well, the game in hand's gone now, but something that's better than saying a game in hand is we got the points in the bag. 5 point lead now, which is very, very important when you're being chased down by a team like Man City. And it was a good performance in the end.
I thought we had everything yesterday, Rob, the game. I'm going to say that now. I felt that the first 30, 40 minutes weren't good. I'm going to say that. Like, I thought like Everton looked a little bit more dangerous. I think there was a little bit of frustration. That's the difference between the Emirates now, though, and a few years ago. I think we was all a little bit frustrated, but we didn't show it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true, you know, because, you know, a couple of years ago, because it was a very frustrating, I thought Everton, to be fair to them, played pretty well.
Yeah.
In the first sort of 35 minutes, because they're really, really solid at the back, and then they countered pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, they were showing a lot of energy, but they didn't, I never really thought they'd score. They just didn't seem to have any end product, right? But we did give the ball away quite a few times, right? And in years gone by, there'd have been a lot of moaning and groaning, and, you know, I think Zinchenko gave it away a couple of times, Jorginho. People would have been like, oh, bloody hell, Joe. But the difference, I heard there was a guy next to me, and one time Zinchenko gave the ball away, and he shouted, he got up, really vocal, this guy, and he shouted, he goes, lift your head up, Vinny. I was like, yeah, I like that. I like that. You know what I mean? He's like, that wouldn't have been the case a couple of years ago.
And it's true, because, look, listen, when I watch the game, I go through the whole emotions of the game, you know what I mean? If Arsenal are playing bad, they're the worst team in the league, you know what I mean? Like, if they're playing well, they're the best team. But, like, sometimes you know, you look around and you might go, come on, get like, do something. And someone looks at my mate, looks at you and goes, what are you on about? Like, you know what I mean? We're come, here come. There's an energy of people going like, even when things ain't going right, we're turning it around, we're doing this. Belief. And the greatest thing about yesterday was we was watching that game and it was getting a little bit frustrated. And then it comes, right, how are we gonna break down this Everton team, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, even my mate turned around and said, I hope they get relegated because they're like this is what it's gonna be like, you know what I mean? But you need that little bit of magic. Yeah. And that is what we got. We got the little bit of magic, and that to break down well organised, disciplined teams, you've got to have magical players. And Zinchenko with the pass, Saka. By the way, it was a lovely little pass. He had so much more to do after that second. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
he's mastering that finish.
Oh, turn.
Have we not seen that finish a few times this season? Where,
straight at top
where
corner.
He rifles it right up into the roof of the goal. That real
Leeds away was one, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's done that a few times this season, and
Pickford had no chance.
No chance.
England's number 2 had no chance. I mean, absolutely no chance.
No chance because he was just so sharp. But just going back to Zinchenko. It's that when you're trying to break down teams, right? And I know sometimes it can be frustrating because you see Zinchenko, he tries to do it a lot. He tries to make passes that break lines, which is when you're playing against a really tight, you know, compact team. There's 2 ways to break them down, really. Going wide, well, 3 ways. I think there's 3 ways. There's sort of going wide and trying to stretch them so you can try and get him behind. Running at them, which is something that Jesus used to be brilliant at. That's why we miss him, right? Because he picks the ball up, takes a few players out of shape and stuff like that. Or you can try and break the lines. And Zinchenko, he tried it a couple of times, didn't really come off. Yeah. But then when he passed that one into Saka now, he's broken the lines with that pass. He did it later on, I think, for the 4th goal as well. It was, even though he didn't have the immediate assist, it was another line-breaking pass. And that risk and reward type football, you know, came off for Arsenal. Yeah. And, you know, his pass for that first goal, brilliant. I mean, Saka controls it brilliantly, spins, bang.
He's picked that up, Rob, inside right. Not left backs on the left hand side. You know what I mean? It's just you know,
positions he plays in.
Positions he plays in. It's just like, well, you know, go and do whatever you want, like, you know. But he delivers. You know, one thing I liked about you know, listen, I had no favouritism towards him when he signed, when he was playing at Manchester City, like, you know. But he messed up once in the first time, and he was punching his head.
He was going like,
get on this game, get on this game. You know what I mean? I'm loving that. Yeah. It shows that he really cares. You know what I mean? Like you know, like I think someone said, "Don't worry," you know. But me as a player, I'm going, relax, don't worry about it.
Did you also notice this, right? At the end of the first half, when all the sort of players were coming off, he was having a discussion on the pitch with Gabriel. I don't know, he was sort of going, go, you know, it's something to do with positioning.
I didn't see that.
It went on for about a minute. He was going like, everyone had gone off, and he's like, I'm thinking, you know.
It's infectious though, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because at the end of it, like, what I liked about, like things like that, he's not happy. He's not happy until, you know, and if you've got players on the field that are like that, that's going to generate everywhere. But I genuinely think that there would have been a lot of Arsenal fans would have seen that and maybe just thinking to themselves, because I was thinking, like, you have a good go. When you see that, I think, you know, you really want him to do do well, you know.
You know he cares.
He cares.
And a lot of times in the past, you know what I mean, you've been watching footballers at Arsenal, it doesn't look like they care.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's a great point.
Sometimes we're being a bit unfair with those players because every player's demeanour is different. Yeah. You know, I mean, you get a player like a Pepe, for instance, right? I'm sure he cares, but he doesn't look like he cares. It's just the way he is. It's just his laid-back demeanour, you know. But certainly, you know what I mean, I just look at it and I say a player like Zinchenko, his quality in games like that where teams are really hard to break down, his quality is essential. He wasn't playing like a left back yesterday. No, he was playing like a De Bruyne. He was roaming around everywhere. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Incredible, like, you know what I mean? I've never seen this. I never see him actually doing that when he was playing for Manchester City. I'll be honest. You know.
They didn't need to because they had De Bruyne.
But yeah,
that's true. I never saw him roaming like that.
Roaming like that, and you know, he's obviously gone to Arsenal with, you know, and I think Arteta has said, look, you know, you're going to be a key component in this team, and he's doing it. The first time I really thought, he was a good player, was when I see him playing for Ukraine against Scotland. He played in midfield, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm glad we got him. He looked really decent, and whatever. Like, I think we was linked with. I don't know if we were actually signed for us then. And I thought, he looks a good player. But I didn't really see what I'm seeing now. You know, the improvement of him has been incredible. And I noticed yesterday, and I think that this is where, you know, I think Gabriel's got to take a lot of praise, and perhaps Martinelli as well, because there is 30, 40 yards over there at times. Where he, you know, like he's got gone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Gabriel has to. If you look at Ben White, and so Ben White's in a position which helps out Saka, but it also helps out Saliba. He doesn't do that. I'm not having a go at him when he says it. See, that's the role that he does. So basically, Arteta's saying to Gabriel, I'm relying on you to defend not only the lines but space as well, and also Martinelli. You've got to get back in there, and do a little bit more defensive stuff. Which he did in the first half on a couple of occasions. He ran down Iwobi. I don't know if you noticed it. Saka doesn't do that so much because Ben White is there. So key components to work around that, and it was fascinating to watch yesterday. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, it is, and Zinchenko. You know, the fascinating thing for me, right, I'm finding, right, is that we've got certain players now that are doing really well at Arsenal. That were not the first choice for signings. So Zinchenko was not first choice signing,
allegedly,
right? I don't think he was. They wanted Lisandro Martinez. He was the player that they were.
He's done well with Man United. But
he has done very well, but I think.
Who would you want?
Well, for the role because from what I understand, right, they were going to get Lisandro Martinez come and play as a left back who could also drop into a centre-back position if, you know, anything happened to Gabriel. But as a straight-up left-back and what I see, ability and all that, Zinchenko, I'm more than happy. Listen, Lisandro Martinez has been excellent for United, and I'm very impressed with him. But what I'm saying is, we didn't get Lisandro Martinez. He wanted to go and join up with his old manager, Ten Hag, you know, but also had a plan B. And the plan B has been
better than
exceptional.
Plan A.
And I think it's been better than plan A. Then the other, I'll give you another plan B, was Jorginho. Well, his best game last night. With Jorginho, who's come in, done well, hit the ground running. But the third plan B I want to talk about, who's been very impressive, is Trossard.
Oh, yeah.
Very impressive. An assist last night. And again, he was not plan A.
Nah.
Right? Mudryk was plan A, right? They brought in plan B, and they must be looking at it and thinking, all right, maybe Mudryk might have been that guy in the future, maybe, but you see right now, that's been it's showing when you're looking what Mudryk's doing at Chelsea, where he, at the moment, looks like a player who's not ready yet, right? And then you look at Trossard. Trossard has been an unbelievable signing. Think of it this way, when he's come in, he's done brilliant. Should have had a perfectly good goal at the weekend. Had an assist yesterday. Very instrumental in the forward play and helping to unlock a very tight defence. And also has this, now this is very important, has added competition to the team, which has meant that Martinelli has to step up. And Martinelli has now scored 4 in the last 3 games. But nobody cannot tell me that, number one, Arteta done brilliantly in taking him out of the team and saying, take a rest for a bit because you've gone off the boil a bit, which happens. It happens to the best of players. Nobody cannot tell me that Martinelli sitting on the bench and then seeing Trossard coming in and doing well is not thinking to himself, you know what?
I need to step up.
Let me go on that training ground and work and step up, man. I don't want to end up losing my place to Trossard. I need to step my game up. So when I come in, I've got to affect the game, and that's exactly what he's done. Trossard has been a brilliant signing for Arsenal, really has. 21 million plus 7 million in add-ons. I know people say 28, he might not even get to 28. 21 million pounds, that is. Look what he's done so far. It's been a brilliant January signing.
Brilliant, and Premiership proven as well. That's the other thing. All of those players, Premiership proven. They've hit the ground running. Yeah. And do you know what? Like, you are right. Again, Trossard. I've not. This, you know, when I looked at Brighton, I wouldn't say he was my favourite player at Brighton or something like that. And you know, but he's come into this Arsenal team and he's consistently, you know, the fans love him already, like, you know what I mean, which is really good.
We overlook players sometimes when they come from teams like a Brighton because we don't watch them teams week in, week out.
Yeah,
right?
don't realise.
But if you really think about it, Trossard's had an amazing season, you know. Even up until he sort of fell out a bit with the higher grade. You know, let's remember he scored a hat-trick at Anfield.
Yeah, he scored against us last year.
He scored against us. He scored big goals in big games. He went to the World Cup with Belgium. I know he didn't figure much, but, you know, he's now got that stage to show his stuff. And he really is showing his stuff. Yeah, and I think he's been a brilliant signing.
And at this moment in time, you know, you'd say at this moment in time, he's now got himself into the starting lineup. And you know, I think that
has to start.
I think, you know, he's pushed himself into that.
Got Eddie looking over his shoulder as well.
Yeah, and what you want now from Eddie is exactly that response that you got from Martinelli,
which we did last night. If you think about it, he came on, he made an impact. At first, I saw that attempt here. I was thinking, Eddie, you should have scored that. A little bit more difficult than I thought, actually, because I thought Pickford
done well as Edmonds.
Yeah, Pickford did get off his line very quickly. Because I was thinking he should have chipped him more, but Pickford got off his line quick. But then Eddie's assist for the goal. That means you've come off the bench, you've made an impact. That means now the manager is thinking,
Exactly.
Should I start Eddie Saturday? Maybe. I like what he did when he, you know what I mean? This is what competition does. You've got to step up, especially in them forward areas.
I reckon he might have listened to the old starting 11 as well, like Eddie, because we said he ain't had an assist all season. And then he went in and nicked one, like, you know what I mean? So and that's the good thing. And I've got to say, like, you know, a big compliment to Arteta, because, you know, people having a little dig, leaving Martinelli out, what's going on and everything like that, you know. It's worked. He's left him out. He's responded with 4 goals in 3 games. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know, as a manager, if you're sitting in your office with your old cigar on there going like, well,
stuff you lot, you know what I mean?
I've done the business.
Don't drop Martinelli, yeah? I'm the man.
I'm the man. I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing. Shut up.
That's why you pay your money for your season ticket, because, like, you know, I know what I'm talking about. But, you know, I've been there. I'm there yesterday, going, I'm not sure if this left back inverted role was going to work today. We need to get out wide. And then we just spoke about how well Zinchenko's done. Yeah. You know, another cigar he's got out. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, just keep throwing the cigars down to me.
I'd love to see James break that one down, like the Zinchenko thing, because to me, as I said,
has he paid you up yet, by the way?
Oh, he ain't paid me up yet. No,
he's a bad payer. I feel like, you know, he should be getting.
He was convinced he was going to go. He's sort of been like a midfielder already, though.
Yeah, but he goes.
But he's still a left back. He's a left back. Yeah. But I'd love to see him like analyse Zinchenko's display yesterday, because honestly, you know what I mean, that the way he just breaks lines, you know. And then let me tell you another thing that I liked about Arteta yesterday, what he did at half-time, bringing on Thomas Partey. Now, again, I thought that was a really smart move, right? I don't think, you know, there's a few people saying, Jorginho didn't have...
No, he done all right.
I thought he did all right. He gave it away a couple of times. Everybody's
giving it away. Xhaka was giving it away in the first half.
The reason why he came off, I feel, was because of the physicality of their midfield. Yeah. You've got Decore, Idrissa Gueye, you've got that Onana, 3 lumps.
They overpowered him a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, when he's brought on Partey now, and also they're 2-0 down, so you know what they're going to do. They're going to start going even longer. They're going to probably try and get corners or free kicks, lump it into the box. So now all of a sudden, somebody like Partey comes more into play. Yeah. He can defend those. Remember, he came off when they scored that goal up at Goodison, and we were saying, maybe if his height would have been in the box, that might have prevented that goal. Yeah. So he's brought him on now, I feel, not so much for his skill in midfield. I think it was to match up the physicality of that Everton midfield. And then, of course, we know that Partey's passing's brilliant.
It was a masterclass.
Yeah, complete control.
Masterclass.
Yeah, complete control of the second half then.
And what listen, you know, played midfield and everything there. It's like watching a snooker player. You know what I mean? Like they make it look easy, and then when you actually go on there and think, "Oh, this is not as easy as all these balls," right? You know what I mean? Which it ain't. It's the same when you're playing football. He makes that look so easy. You think, "Oh, I can do that." Well, you go out there and try and do that. Like he gets more time on the ball than anybody on the pitch. That's Ulegal included, who's fantastic. He gets more time. He creates his time. I don't know how he does it, but he does. That's because he's class. And then when I just thought, like, you know, if you want to watch, say, like put out a menu out to play holding midfield player for 45 minutes. That was it. That was it. It was, you know, he never got. He never. I'll tell you what else I thought was really good about him. He never got himself into a situation where he's got to go in 50-50 with anybody. He nicks the ball, he just takes it off of people.
Gets his body.
He just gets his body in the way, muscles you out of it. Like, honestly, it was
and that was smart by
to watch.
I thought that was smart by the manager. Really,
45,
really good management. It's at half time. No player ever wants to come off at half time.
No, of course not. Like, you know, like Jorginho, like I don't really want people to start saying, "Oh, he had a bad game," because he didn't. If you look back on it, don't forget what was the score when he come off.
2-0.
2-0. So his job was he set the platform up for Partey to go and do that, you know. And I think Partey will start against Bournemouth. 20 minutes from the end, Jorginho come on, and then Jorginho.
Yeah, I think Partey will start. We're going to talk about Bournemouth. Before we talk about Bournemouth, let's get into pick 10. We can't wait. He's been waiting for this since the start of the show. All right, tell him how you did last week.
I got 7 out of 10. I'm worth myself, £6. Like, you know,
7 out of 10.
Anything you can do, I can do better. You got £5, I got 6. You know
my God, listen to this guy.
7 out of 10. And I'll tell you what, I was pleased with that. And then I look at the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Someone's got 10 out of 10 on his own.
I know. Angelo Boo won £5,500 last week.
Got them all right.
10. Got all 10 right. Unbelievable.
On his own, so he didn't have to share.
She's crazy.
You greedy boy.
Or girl.
Could be a girl.
Right. This week, there's £11,500 up for grabs by playing AFTV PICK10. There's a Bournemouth Arsenal special. Let me run through the pick 10s for this week. There's some good games on it. Cardiff versus Bristol City. That's almost like a derby. That's like a derby.
The ball, the derby they called that, saying, didn't they?
Where are you going?
I'm going City. Bristol City.
You're going City. They're both.
Oh, no, I was just trying to fool you there, wasn't I? Like,
Bristol City.
Yeah, Bristol City.
Well, I was going to. All right, I'll go Bristol City as well then. Man City versus Newcastle.
I'd love Newcastle to get anything, but they've just gone off the ball, Newcastle.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, Man City will win that one.
Nope. The draw specialist will get a draw. I'll go for a draw in that game.
Go on, Newcastle.
Arsenal versus Bournemouth. I've got to go for Arsenal after last night.
Going for the Gunners.
Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Ooh.
Do you know what? I struggled on this one. I actually went for a draw in the end.
No, I think Villa. I impressed when we played them, man. Defensively, not great, but going forward, very good. Ollie Watkins. Would you have Ollie Watkins at Arsenal?
I prefer Ivan Toney, if I'll be honest. But
I saw a rumour this week linking us with Ollie Watkins. I was like,
Arsenal fan, you know.
Yeah, he's an Arsenal fan. Good player, man.
Yeah, and
Cecil, good friend of Cecil's.
Good friends of Cecil, so let's sign him up like that.
Might get some tickets.
Might get some tickets, shirts, box. Yeah, so,
Brighton versus West Ham. Big game for West Ham, man. It will start picking up some points. West Ham,
West Ham.
West Ham, what's wrong with you?
1 minute from the end, what's the matter?
You know what I mean? And did you see
as well?
If you see how many chances they had.
What, West Ham?
When they were 1-0 up,
I did.
If you watch the highlights, Lee, like, they had chances to go 2-3 up.
I didn't see the highlight. I have to have Do you know, talking about Manchester United, right? You know, you have like, that's what I say about cup competitions. Do you know their last 10 games in domestic competitions, draws, all been at home?
Yeah.
10 on the spin. You've got to have a little bit of luck in football.
Those balls are hot. Those balls are hot.
They've got Man United written all over them. I think they got another home draw this time around, didn't they?
Yeah.
The only time they go away is when it's at Wembley.
I think they're home to Fulham, innit?
Home to Fulham, and then like, you know, obviously like it can't be drawn at home again.
Brighton, West Ham.
I'm going Brighton.
Yeah, I think you're right, you know. West Ham are in
That
trouble.
must have knocked him out. It must have knocked the stuffing out. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I haven't spoken to any of my West Ham mates, but that must have knocked the
Yeah,
stuffing
yeah,
out.
they've actually played well. Chelsea versus Leeds. Surely Chelsea.
Sure.
You said that against Southampton.
No.
If they lose that, Potter's gone. Come on, man. I'm going to go Chelsea. They've got to win that.
I've gone Chelsea as well, but
Wolves versus Spurs. That's interesting now after I'll go Wolves, you know.
I've gone Wolves.
I'll tell you what,
Wolves have impressed me. I thought
Yeah.
do you know what? They played really well yesterday against Liverpool.
But they lost, though.
But they lost.
Yeah.
But they're a different kettle of fish at home.
Yeah.
Like, even when they was bottom of the league, when we played them, that was a tough game. I don't think any Premier League ground's not good, and if you're not on it.
Yeah.
By the way, I've got to have another little dig at Spurs here, like, you know. Right. Do you know Conte is up for managers of the month award?
Is he?
Yeah.
He ain't even been here.
He hasn't even been there.
He's been ill, hasn't he? He had his
he
had an operation.
He's only been there for one game, and I think they lost that one.
Southampton versus Leicester.
Leicester, what about Leicester? Losing in the cup.
Man,
They've got to be kicking
poor,
themselves.
man.
They could have actually got Sheffield United in the next round.
Yeah.
They'd be kicking themselves.
Yeah.
But
But what about Southampton? They got knocked out by Grimsby.
Well, the old fisherman.
I'm going for a Leicester win.
Bit fishy.
The only thing, the only thing is, right, it depends if Maddison's playing, but Leicester win for me. Stuttgart versus Bayern Munich.
Oh, yeah.
Bayern Munich for me. And Atletico Madrid versus Sevilla. Atletico for me. Right, so that's what I'm going. There is also a special.
And someone in the comments had a little dig at me, like going, Lee's picked Valencia. They've only won 2 games all season. Like, well, let me tell you, Valencia won at home. Like, you know what I mean? Don't mock the judge. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
All right, quickly, the Arsenal versus Bournemouth special. I'm going for an Arsenal win. Both teams to score. I'm going no.
Yeah, same with you.
Over 2.5 goals. I'm going yes. First half result: Arsenal to have over 1.5 cards. No, we're not picking up that many cards. Touch wood. Remember last year, every minute
that
players sent off.
Been fantastic.
Discipline has been much. We've learnt a lot from last year. Bournemouth over 2.5 cards. No. Arsenal over 6.5 corners. I think I'll go yes. We had a lot of corners yesterday. Bournemouth over 3.5 corners. No. Martinelli to score at any time. Yes. I'm going Martinelli to score. Yeah. Right, that's what I am. Hey, hold on. It's telling me to add funds. Well, I'm broke already. Right.
Don't do that with me because I've got £6.
I'll add some funds to it. Yeah, Cabros.
Yeah.
Let me £3.
How much you got in there?
£2.70.
That's no
Money's
good.
running out, man. Hey, I've got to start getting back on the winning track, right? Don't forget, if you want to get involved, scan the QR code on the screen, click the link in the description to play AFTV PICK10. All you got to do is download the app, AFTV Plus. As I said earlier, Lee, with 5 points clear now, is it happening? Is it happening? Is it happening, Lee?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I did the overlap during the week.
Yeah. How'd you get on?
And I thought I got on all right. You know what I mean? There's Boovy on there from Man City.
Oh.
You know, he was giving it. But I think a lot of that is he's worried.
Yeah, of course he is. Like,
he's worried. When he's saying that Arsenal's got a weak spine, I'm like, obviously the guy's chatting rubbish because, you know what I mean, everyone knows Arsenal don't have a weak spine. And as a matter of fact, when we played Man City, we didn't even have our spine because there was no Jesus, there was no Partey, you know. So I think they are wary of Arsenal. I think we've now got a 5-point cushion. We can do it.
Well, you think about it.
We can do it.
You think about it 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago today, we was doom and gloom here. You know what I mean? Like, we were second in the league.
I wasn't doom and gloom.
Well, I was,
you know,
disappointed about the thing.
Very disappointed,
but and all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, we're vibrant again. 3 wins. I'll tell you, it's been a fantastic response since that defeat against Man City. You know what I mean?
Response.
Like, you know, old Gary Neville would have been like, you know, rubbing his hands. You know what I mean? Like, but he ain't rubbing them now. Like, you know what I mean? Because there's got to be. a little bit of a worry now. If you was Man City, Spurs, Manchester United fans now, like, you're going to be thinking, oh, I don't know. There does seem something different about this Arsenal team.
100%.
And I've seen Arsenal win now in the last 3 games different ways. Yep. And I think that's the way sometimes you
explain
look at...
Explain that.
Well,
Explain the different ways.
Different ways. I look at the game against Villa, it was like basketball, football. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like gun-ho, you know what I mean? We've got to go for it. It was a little bit risky, should I say. Like, we was never in control of that game. Never in control of the game. But sometimes you need a game like that, and that's the way it was. Done that. Went to Leicester last week. I felt very, very cautious of not conceding goals. I felt it was a good away performance. I didn't think we created too much, but we kept in control, defended it really, really well, controlled that. Yesterday, we controlled it, but we went for the kill. And after a tricky 40 minutes in the first half, all ways of, you've got, when you play football, there's all different ways to win games, and you have to do that to be champ. You don't realise it, but you do. Players contributing from different play. Again, yesterday, Ramsdale didn't have a lot to do. 2 important saves yesterday, Robbie. The one from McNeil in the first half. Sorry, in the beginning of the second half. They go 2-1 up.
You know on that save as well. Great save, but again, my man Zinchenko.
With the
good little nod away.
Yeah. And then and what I love, and I've always said this because and I know this happened in the dressing room. 4-0 up. Look at the way they defend. Look at the way they reacted to keeping that clean sheet, that not scoring that goal. Now I know for a fact that Arsenal won a game back in the Tony Adams, Martin Keown era, right? That they won a game. They was winning 4-0 in a game, and they conceded a goal. Everybody was jumping up and down, and Tony Adams and Martin Keown were having a row in the dressing room because they weren't happy that they conceded. Yeah, they hadn't kept a clean sheet. That mentality I see yesterday. I see that in our defending, and I love it.
There's a difference in this Arsenal team,
and that's why I'm confident.
What makes me really do believe we've been playing consistently good all season, right? Last year, I know people tried to draw parallels of how we crumbled when it come to the top 4. Last year we wasn't consistent. We'd have patches where we played good, patches where we played bad. Yeah. Patches where we played good, patches where we played bad. I think this year, consistently, we've been good. We've had a little blip, but we've been consistently good this season. Remember, Everton got a draw against City at home. Yes, yeah. I think people forget those sort of things. Good, isn't it? You know, going into that game yesterday, bit of pressure for Arsenal as well. You know what I mean? There's people, I was on the way down where I was sitting, and some guy was going at me, oh yeah, he goes, do you realise that the last, I think he said that the last 4 games we've played here, we 8-1. Yeah. I was going, ain't we? I go, no, we've been strong at home. He goes, no, he goes, lost to City, drew to Brentford.
Drew with Newcastle.
Drew with Newcastle. He goes, we've only won 1 or something like
that. Yeah, beat West Ham
the last 4.
Since the World Cup.
Or something like that. So I was going, is it? I was going, Right, I couldn't even realise that. I thought we've been strong at home. We have been strong at home. But
it's had a little blip.
Dealt with that. Won the game convincingly. This also, what I just look at, I say, better side. I look at the game, for instance, last year at Newcastle, that was a game where I was really, really disappointed. Even the game against Tottenham. Ooh. But look at the personnel that was playing in those games. Yeah. Much change, Holding, El Neni, Nuno Tavares, all these sort of guys, right? At the moment, the personnel that's in there is a lot better. And I'm feeling good about Arsenal. Jesus is to come back. Yeah. Smith Rowe came on yesterday, right? So he's coming back. All of a sudden, there's options there. If Jesus comes back and hits the ground running, that's gonna give the whole team another lift again. That is gonna worry defenses once again. Now all of a sudden you're gonna have Jesus, Trossard, Martinelli, Nketiah, Saka, options all over the front there. You know, you've got Jorginho who's coming, has done a great job. So all of a sudden now it's not terminal when Partey's out. You know what I mean? I'm just looking at it and I'm feeling differently. And Troop said it. I did an interview with Troops yesterday. And Troops said it in his fan cam, and he said, after that Villa game, he goes, there's moments in the season that you look back on, and he goes, that Villa game looks to me like that moment.
That will be the one. I think
I said it on the overlap as well. I said the same thing. And you just look at a game like that and you think, yeah, man, the character
we needed that
shown in that game. Yeah, the character. We needed that game because the manner of the comeback and the Jorginho goal and that just restored the belief that had been sapped a bit by that
confidence of the players, confidence for the supporters.
And then the next two games after that, look at the control at Leicester, look at the control yesterday, you know. And then now also I'm looking on it and I'm saying, this is a chance for Arsenal now to go on a bit of a run. As I look at the games coming up, Bournemouth at home this weekend. Bournemouth are struggling down at the bottom of the table. Listen, this Premier League, you take nothing for granted, but you would expect Arsenal to win that game, right? Fulham away will not be easy because they've been good, but they're going to be missing that Paulinho in midfield, who's been very, very, very influential for them. He's out with he got a 10 yellow cards last week. He's going to miss 2 games.
Oh, he's banned for 2 games?
He's banned for 2 games, so he'll miss that game. I think that's major because in that midfield, he's been brilliant.
Lucky Arsenal.
Right? And I think that's a winnable game. Fulham, even though they had a good win during the week against Leeds. I don't know if you saw that game. How many chances Leeds created?
They also got the cup, the FA Cup.
And they've had games that they've lost. They've lost games. Fulham at home.
It was a tough game at the Emirates.
They did. They're a good side, I think, and they got Mitrovic back now as well.
Yeah.
So, but I listen. I'm confident we can do well.
That's
in that
in
game.
the middle of the
the
Europa League games. So that makes it even more difficult.
Crystal Palace at home, who Palace are struggling a bit at the moment. Again, can't take it for granted, but you'd expect Arsenal to win that. Then Leeds at home. Now,
all teams in the bottom half of the table, apart from
4
Fulham.
games.
4 out of 5 games in the bottom
4
half.
games that if you was a betting man, you'd bet on Arsenal to win, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, bet them all 5.
The next game after that's Liverpool. Right, obviously Liverpool away is a tough game, and Liverpool are improving. They won yesterday.
If you can
but I'm saying if we can win those next 4 games, right, just as a, looking at that, those next 4 games. I mean, there's an international break in the middle of that, but at least you're not coming back off the international break into a really, really, super tough game. We come back to a home game against Leeds. I just look on it as a chance to go on a run. Now, we're 5 points ahead. And I know a lot of people looking at it and say, it's only 5 points. City have chased down. But it has added pressure.
Yeah.
They play Newcastle this weekend. They've hit a bit of form, City. I think Foden's looking good. He's come back. He's looking good for them. They've hit a bit of form. But Newcastle at home, as we found out, is not an easy game.
No.
Even though I think Newcastle have dropped a bit.
Yeah, they've dropped the,
right?
You know what I mean?
But it's not an easy game. Now, they go into that game knowing that if they dropped, say they drew with that game, and then we beat Bournemouth, right? We'll then be like, 7 points clear?
Yeah.
Games are starting to count down now.
Yeah.
So it's a buffer. Arsenal now then know that they could afford to lose 2 games. But you couldn't see him losing 2 games in that run, really, could you? Unless it's a disaster. So this is what I'm saying. The significance of those 5 points, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on City. City have got the Champions League returning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of pressure on City to win the Champions League. I'm starting to really believe that we can do this. I mean, listen, when you start to get into
making me nervous, Rob.
When you start to get into the rest of April, it's Liverpool away, it's West Ham away. That's not easy. It's Southampton at home, and then
that goes ahead now. That game Friday night.
Yeah,
because if they'd have still been involved in the cup,
in the cup, but they're out of the cup.
But they're out now, so that definitely goes ahead.
And then that's a Friday. It works out quite good because it's a Friday night. But then we play City on the Wednesday night. But that gives us quite a few days off.
They've got the FA Cup that day.
Yeah.
See, that weekend.
Yeah.
So also that game gives us, that Southampton game,
another chance to build up points ahead.
Points ahead of that game, because they're not playing that weekend in the Premier League.
Which adds a bit of pressure on City. Then after City, we got Chelsea at home. Then we go into May. May's tough. Away to Newcastle, but I think we're a better team going to Newcastle now. Home against Brighton. Brighton have thrown a spanner in the works for us before.
And I think that's again in between the Europa League games.
But we did beat Brighton.
Was it in between the Europa games?
We did take Brighton apart earlier on this season away from home. Nottingham Forest away, not easy. Could be fighting for their lives. You never know at that stage. And we finish off with Wolves at home.
Do you imagine?
I am believing.
Oh God! Do you imagine that Wolves game if it is on?
A must win.
We can win the title that day. What the atmosphere is going to be like. You know, we've been dying. This is what we've been wanting all the time. Like, you know what I mean? A title challenge, a genuine title challenge.
Well, we've got a genuine. We've got it.
You're going to get all those roller coaster rides. Yeah, I feel bleeding sick now listening to that. I mean, like, because this we could actually win it. You know what I mean? Like, I've been even.
The significance.
Yeah, going away at Tottenham and Man United, we won those games, and then people going, "Do you think you can win it?" Well, I wasn't still so sure and all that, but now I'm getting to the stage.
You can see the pathway now.
Yeah,
you can see the pathway. Even like Manchester United, who are another team that a lot of people are saying, "Well, what about United?" The significance of yesterday's win is that we're now 11 points clear of Manchester United. I know they've got a game in hand now.
Yeah, but that's a game in hand.
Right, it's a game in hand, but we're 11 points clear of Manchester United. So that, again...
They've got Liverpool this weekend.
What it does for all the teams below, it means is that there's not much margin for error. If you think about it, our previous lead, which I think was 8 points, enabled us to have a blip
and still
of losing to City, losing to Everton and drawing with Bournemouth, and still be level top, really, just missing out on goal difference to City. That's what the importance of having points on the board.
And the greatest thing now is that, if we can keep that 5-game buffer, keep 5-point bunch, we can go to Man City and draw.
Yeah.
And it'll be a bloody good result for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I just feel that now the pathway is starting to look clearer. The games are counting down, and you are starting to see there is a clear pathway to winning this league. It's not easy. Winning a league is not easy. Winning a league is very, very difficult. Arsenal are on 60 points now.
Do you know what? Listen, I'm not a great lover of the way Sean Dyche plays his football, but I admire him the way he sets out things. You know what I mean? And he actually said yesterday, which I think is a massive compliment for Arsenal. He turned around and said, "Yeah, we done okay." When they got to 2-0, he went, "That's why they're top of the league." You can see, you know what I mean? And I like that. When an opposition manager saying, I felt that was a thing there. We showed why we are top of the league, and for him to point that out was a big thing, So listen, I think it definitely. This is an art. Do you know what? Talking to James and the guys earlier on the front, that we've had little title challenges before, but this one here, it reminds me a lot of when we have won leagues.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to bring up a thing here, you might laugh at. It does remind me of the '89 team, this team here. And I don't know if you remember, you will remember a player called Martin Hayes, played for Arsenal.
Yeah. I remember Martin Hayes. Yep.
Whoops-a-daisy Martin Hayes, you know what I mean? But scored a lot of goals for Arsenal the season before, right? And then didn't feature because he was injured and all that. Come back and scored a very, very important goal at Middlesbrough, and we won 1-0. Really scrappy, horrible game. 1-0. I look at that. Smith Rowe scored loads of goals last season and all that. He's coming back now.
He's going to be our Martin Hayes.
He's going to be our little Martin Hayes. Contribute one goal somewhere along the line. But if you have a look at it, there's a bit of all of that around there. Very, very young, vibrant team. Do you know what I mean? And I do believe that no one give Arsenal that season a chance of winning the league. I think we finished 6th the season before. So many little similarities going through, And I just feel that I've watched us win leagues before, as you have, and all that. And you get that sense that there's something.
Something's brewing.
There's something's brewing with this team.
Yeah.
I get that feeling. Whether we will and whether we won't, that's another thing. But I do think we're in this team. I think in the past we've had a couple of title challenges, and I've not really been convinced.
Yeah.
This one, I think we've got all the extra, and we've got obviously Jesus coming back as well. Like
Massive.
That is going to be massive.
Lee, there's one simple equation in this one that makes it a lot different to the other sort of half-hearted title challenges that we've had in recent years. The team. It's a better team. I look around and I see quality all over this team.
And on the bench.
And on the bench, and with Jesus coming back into that, I'm like, you know, this team is well equipped to go all the way, you know. And as I said, I look at even at games that we slipped up last year when we was hunting down that top 4. I look at players that were playing. As I said, when I looked at that Newcastle game, Nuno Tavares, very, very raw, made a lot of mistakes in the game. You know, Rob Holding had to come in.
Gabriel was all bandaged up.
Yeah.
Weren't 100%
Now,
fit.
I just look at it and I say, if this team stays injury-free, with the lessons they learnt from last year, with the belief, because I do look at it, and there's some experience in there as well. Zinchenko's done it. Jesus has done it. Xhaka's experience. He's a captain of Switzerland. Odegaard, even though he's a youngster, is a captain and showing captain material, leadership qualities. Gabriel at the back, leadership qualities, you know what I mean? They're all pulling in the same direction. Trossard's coming experienced. Jorginho won multiple things.
Yeah.
I just look on it and say, if this team stays fit, I think they can do it. I really do think they can do it.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I'm starting to believe in this team and all that. And one of the
still moving in silence,
so like,
in a bit, but
yeah, but you've got.
You're seeing the pathway. The pathway is there,
and you know, it doesn't mean to say that you don't. You've got to have an air of caution with the team, because one, they're young. Two, you've got a manager that I think is still learning, and I think, by the way, is learning brilliantly at this moment in time. The mistakes that Arteta's made in the past, he don't make them now. Look at the way I think he's definitely addressed that defending issue over the last couple of games. He's had them in and made sure that they get there, because they're defending more aggressively, and I like that. I actually believe that all these players. I've got to say that I'm sitting here yesterday, like, you know, I love each and every one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's a long time since you could say that as well.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I look at it, and they've let themselves down once this season, in the whole of the season in the league, and that was Everton. Everton away. For whatever reason, I don't know. You know,
and I remember interviewing fans after that game outside Goodison Park, and everybody said, "You know what? We just got to take that."
Yeah.
Because they ain't done that this season.
No,
how can we tear into these guys, right?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when, you know, you get these people like to disrespect fans, you know, Simon Jordans and all these sort of people chatting crap about fans, right? Fans are reasonable, right? As I said that day, they were all like, Robbie, I can't tear into the team.
Yeah.
They did play poor. It was a poor performance, but when have we seen that this season?
Yeah.
We haven't seen that. So they're allowed that. They're allowed that. And there's a bond between the fans and the players, and we can do it this year. We can do it. It's still a long way to go. There's still big tests ahead, but we've got the team to do it.
Yeah, and I also think we've got the manager
and the
team,
fans.
We've got the fans and the mentality. Because I tell you what, could have felt sorry for ourselves going into that game against Leicester at half-time last week. Didn't. And they look back at that. They're in that dressing room. They'd have seen those incidents. Seen, you know what I mean? Should have had a fair. Didn't feel sorry for themselves. Didn't feel sorry for themselves after the Brentford game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, responded. Even against Man City. I know we lost to Manchester City, but we didn't play bad.
Yeah.
We made mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, but which can happen to anybody, by the way. Like, you know. But now we're in a position now when I think we're mentally. I look at that. I've always felt we've got good players, but mentally we weren't strong enough. But I feel this team is mentally strong enough to go all the way. Like, you know, and I'm going to get behind these boys every time. Because I love what they're producing. I actually sat there yesterday. I've got to say that. Like, I know it was 2-0 after that, and just enjoyed watching my team, watching the Arsenal play, knock the ball about. I don't like all that when the fans go, ooh, Lee, and all that, because being a footballer, it's not very nice. But it's just a pleasure to watch. It was, you know what I mean, like, and that's my Arsenal. That's my team doing that.
That is. Well, listen, we've come to the end of the podcast today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do you believe? Are you starting to see a pathway? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Are you starting to see a pathway where Arsenal can win this league, right? The games are starting to count down. The game in hand's gone now, but with 5 points clear, the pressure's on Man City with that early game against Newcastle, right? They can't afford to, Pep Guardiola himself said this the other day. There's no margin for error. So do you believe that this team has the mentality and character and the players to win the league? I want to hear from you guys. Also, don't forget AFTV PICK10. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description if you want to play. You got 7 out of 10 last week.
I want 10 out of 10. I'm not happy with 7 out. I don't want to get that 10 out of 10. I don't care. I'm going to
10 out of 10 before the end of the season. I just needed some money to top my thing up.
I want 10 out of 10, and that'd be like the 180 in darts, wouldn't it?
That would be. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Check out all of our excellent content leading up to the game against Bournemouth, including we're going to be doing a great preview outside the Emirates, so make sure you check that out, and we will see you next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.